Collins, the spotlight shining on Philly for the much-anticipated return of the #1 overall pick in this past NBA draft, Markelle Fultz. Fultz played only 14 minutes but was effective in his return. Sixers and Nuggets in action. After missing the last 68 games due to injury, Fultz receiving a warm cheer from Philadelphia fans. He'll pick it up in the first quarter. Fultz drives and scores the lay-in. 2 points, 3 assists in 6 first-half minutes for Fultz. Now in the fourth, he checks back into the game. Matched up with Mason Plumlee, crosses over, pulls up for the jumper, and it bounces in. Joel Embiid loving it on the bench. Moments later, Fultz matched up again with Plumlee, takes another jumper, and it swishes this time. Fultz, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists in 14 minutes. Sixers win. He looked comfortable on the court, not so much when asked about his injury.
Markelle, did you do something to your shoulder, or did you just start feeling soreness all of a sudden?
When do you play the Kevin?
I'm sorry, you can ask me.
Go ahead, next question.
Is there a reason that you don't want to talk about the injury specifically?
Is there a point in the return where you had to decide what you were going to do in order to get ready for the playoffs?
Just work hard. I mean, I had to feel comfortable. That's the biggest thing. Nobody wants to be out there uncomfortable. So just had to get comfortable with myself, and it happened. So.
For more on the Sixers, here's First Take.
Channeling his inner Marshawn Lynch. So we finally saw the Sixers' #1 overall pick, Markelle Fultz, as you just saw on the court last night after missing 68 games. Clearly not talkative after the game. Stephen A., are you okay with how he handled that, not answering any questions about his injury when this is the first time we saw him?
No, I'm not. It was quite pathetic and insulting, and the nerve of him. You haven't played all year long. Simply looking at the media and telling them, look, I'm not allowed to talk about this. The organization doesn't want me to talk about this. That would have been just fine. Brett Brown didn't want to do too much talking about it. Brian Colangelo, the GM, didn't want to do too much talking about it. Here you are, a rookie, wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac, ain't done a damn thing all year long, but sit on the bench because your shoulder was messed up, and then you had some guru, a friend of yours, that completely messed up your shot, making it look butt ugly, and you finally get to a point of respectability where you're able to step on the court and actually show that you can perform and be worthy, or have a chance of being worthy of being the #1 overall pick. A city that supports you, that gives you a standing ovation when you arrive. Folks want to know questions about your injury or how you felt or whatever the case may be, and your answer is to ignore the media as if you're some entitled individual. Good luck with your future in Philadelphia. Max, I think even you would defer to my level of expertise on this subject. Who worked in Philadelphia for 17 years? Who knows this
Stephen
city?
A. Smith.
You understand the pulse of this city. You go right ahead, Markelle, and there you go, and be the fool that you were last night and act that way towards the media. It'll get to a point where you're begging them to ask you about basketball because they'll watch everything you do, everywhere you go, who you're with, what you're doing, and they'll say, would you like us to ask you about basketball now? It's just the stupidest thing that I've seen from a young athlete in quite some time. Young, wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac, ain't done a damn thing. I don't know what you've done, and you're going to literally sit there and ignore people like you are entitled? Have you lost your damn mind? Somebody needs to talk to him. Brian Colangelo, Brett Brown, you know, the list goes on and on. I won't name the folks, but we all know how connected I am to Philadelphia, okay? It was a stupid thing for him to do, and good luck in the future because you have now raised the eyebrows of the media in Philadelphia. This ain't Utah or someplace like that. One of them kind, tranquil environments, rife with peace and beautiful scenery and all. This is a blue-collar city. You act like that, you better have a game to back it up. And last time I checked, Markelle Fultz, we don't know what kind of game you have on this level because last night was the first time we saw you behind. The nerve of this kid. He should be ashamed of himself for acting that way. Somebody needs to talk to him, and he needs to make amends for that one.
I don't know, Stephen A. Maybe it was really smart of him because now that he gave that answer, probably they won't ask anymore. You know, probably it'll all just go away. If you want it to go away, why would you give that non-answer? Just stare someone. Now, maybe, listen, we could be misinterpreting this. Maybe he's a deer in the headlights, and it comes off as arrogant, but in fact, he's not sure in that moment how to handle it. I was told don't say anything, and so he handles it like that. That's possible. I would say that any comparison to Marshawn Lynch is really misplaced. Marshawn Lynch had already balled till he was called beast mode, and then when he was asked about it after he was an established star, when he would be asked about something and he didn't want to answer, he'd say, "I'm just about that action, boss." Like, everything about Marshawn Lynch made him a fan favorite, even in his ignoring the media. I bring this up all the time when I compare, like, Popovich to Belichick. There's some people who can do that to the media and make it charming. Marshawn Lynch is one of those guys. He's charming. Markelle Fultz in this came off, as you said, as young, entitled, and really naive if he thinks that that's actually going to make things go away. So I would hold open the possibility that as a young kid, the #1 draft pick, all these expectations, he's kind of a deer in the headlights, and he's maybe overwhelmed by the moment. I want to point out, too, Sam Hinkie, who was derided by many Stephen A. Smiths for the process, is, you know, because of him, they have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And anyone who says, well, anyone could have had Embiid, he was the 3rd pick, #3, because of injury concerns. Brian Colangelo's had one major decision to make as Sixers boss so far in terms of the draft. And he selected Markelle Fultz over Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Josh Jackson, Kyle Kuzma, Dennis Smith Jr., Lonzo Ball. You know, all these. Now, a lot of that I get is the injury, but also it looks like a kind of broken shot. And, I mean, there were times where it was unbelievably bad looking, that shot earlier in this season. And now this with the attitude. Again, if this is a deer in the headlights thing because he mishandled the situation, I hope that's the case. But if it's kind of young, arrogant, entitled thing, boy, that's bad considering you haven't played all season.
Well, like I said, it's Philadelphia. And I'm going to say that one more time. It's Philadelphia. You don't play that nonsense in the city of Philadelphia, bro.
All right.
I promise you, his game better be all that they projected it would be. When you act like that, let's put it to you this way. Allen Iverson barely acted like that. Allen Iverson used to talk to the media all the time. You understand? And even if he had something to say that you didn't like, you loved him because he always has something to say. You understand? He didn't, he didn't act like that. I'm talking to Allen Iverson. You understand? That didn't happen. Markelle Fultz, good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Oh, by the way, and you know how big. And Max, where am I going to pay a visit to? Come on now. I mean, where did I work at for years? They in the playoffs now. Where am I going to pay attention to? Good luck. Good luck. I know all of these people in Philadelphia in the media. Good luck. By the way, better have a game to back this up.
Sorry, Mike.
Better have a game.
Sorry, Mike. I was just going to say quickly, and we'll get to it, I'm sure, at a later date, but we can question the wisdom of even activating him and giving him significant minutes coming up under these pressurized circumstances.
Yeah, let's talk about it. All right, so they got Fultz back. The Sixers looking strong heading into the playoffs. Trust the process, baby. Stephen A., are they real threats?
Well, first of all, I would deeply appreciate it in all seriousness if everybody. I would ask that no one bring up the process to me.
No, I'm going to continue to bring it up.
I have nothing but love for you and Max, sports and people like that. I love my colleagues, and I really don't want to cuss people out. I really, really don't. The process is something I despise because I don't know of any black man that would be allowed to lose for 3 years on purpose and continue to work.
I'll give you that.
I don't play that game.
I get
I despise the process. And I'm saying this not to y'all. I'm saying it to the city of Philadelphia because I'm there all the time. I don't want people walking up the street. I'm telling you, I'm going to cuss people out. I want the organization saying it. I don't want fans of Philadelphia saying it. I don't want to hear it. I can't stand it. That's number one. Number two, the Philadelphia 76ers absolutely can be a threat with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. They're big time. I think they're getting out of the first round. They'll be in the semis, and then they'll probably go home. But I will give them a first-round series win. I don't think they're going home in the first round. I think they're going to be successful in that first-round matchup. Then after that, they're going to have to go against one of those top two teams in the East, and I think that that's where it will end for them. But they're going to be very, very interesting. I can see them winning in the first round, and I can see them taking a semifinal series 6 or 7 games.
And I could see why Paul Pierce thinks that if Markelle Fultz is the real deal, they can get to the conference finals. I don't think they'll get there. Like you, Stephen A., what I really see, other than the lack of a real deep bench, and still they need some more shooters, they also need some more experience. You know, when Magic Johnson had that unbelievable rookie season, he had, at that point in time, maybe the greatest player who ever played the game in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in an MVP season. And still they needed a lot of help, right? Still they brought in McAdoo, and they had, you know, Jamal Wilkes and Norm Nixon and everything. It's hard to even get to a conference finals, let alone get to a championship or win one. And I don't think they have the experience. But it's not impossible, because that's how special Ben Simmons is, and that's how special Joel Embiid is. Embiid's long-term health is a question, and with a big guy, you always have to see how does he win the war of attrition in the NBA over time, even in this NBA where it's more three-point shooting and less back to the basket stuff. That still means the centers are running around a lot, and that can be wear and tear in a different way on them. But in the short term, provided health, boy, that's not a team anyone's going to want to see. We see it the same way around the second round. I think around the second round, but they are live.
Yeah, but you're thinking more highly about the 76ers than I do because of Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid, yes. I love Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons is going to be a superstar in this league, but not now because of two reasons. His perimeter shooting and his free throw shooting. And when the playoffs come, the game slows down, and you have time to prepare in a best-of-7 series. And you're going to see people sending him to the line more and making him shoot perimeter shots more. And when that happens, he's going to struggle. And as a result, everybody around him is going to struggle because he's the creator. He's the orchestrator. He's the extension of the coach on the floor. And you need him to be able to be a threat from the perimeter and from the free throw line. Once that happens with Ben Simmons, Max, it's another level. It's another day. The Sixers could potentially win a championship.
I totally agree with that, except I'll say this.
Not before you hit those free throws.
I totally agree with that, except 57% Simmons is so good. Simmons is so good, if he never gets a perimeter shot, he can still win an MVP. That's how good he is if he stays healthy.
All right, we got to leave it there.
But not winning the playoffs.
We need time to talk about both of your man crushes. Still to come. Should Aaron Rodgers be upset with the way the Packers have handled things this offseason? We'll debate if he should be doing them any favors come contract time. And Steve Kerr says the Warriors can still beat anybody, even if they don't have Steph Curry. Is he being confident or cocky? More for take after the break.
Allow me to impart my wisdom upon you.
Zip it!
Watch your manners. Woo! To beat a man, you gotta beat the man.